So this is going to show you how I planned my entire week. I did this on Sunday and I planned Monday through Sunday. So all the way through to the weekend. My husband's coming next Monday, so things are going to be a little bit different. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy what I did for my breakfast and lunches. I'm going to change that around a little bit, but this is how you're going to be consistent, right? And this is how you're going to get yourself away from the frustration and driving yourself crazy with MyFitnessPal, because I know with tracking macros, that can be the most difficult thing, is just trying to get things in, putting things in, right? And what the biggest mistake that you're making is you're waiting until the end of the day to put all your shit in, right? And now there's no way that you can be accurate with what you had. You're going to forget stuff and you're just going to be tired. And especially, and a lot of times, like maybe you planned maybe you already put in your breakfast or lunch, but now you get to dinner and you're like, I don't know what fits in here. So this just eliminates all that frustration. I don't typically have to track macros when I'm in a maintenance period, but right now I am in a fat loss phase and I don't want to screw around. I don't want to be in this fat loss phase any longer than I have to. I do not like dieting. I used to be the queen of 1,200 calories, and I used to be the queen of denying myself food until like 3 o'clock and doing all that crap. And now I don't have to do that anymore. I can have whatever I want when I want. But right now I do want to take a little bit of fat off of my body. And so that, my friends, brings us to a fat loss phase. I'm in a deficit. So I'm going to show you I'll show you live, like where I am at on MyFitnessPal. So are there any questions? First of all, I'm assuming that you all have. Hi, Sonia. How are you? I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping up on all the comments. So I'm on my phone. I'm on the computer. So let me just put the phone so it looks like I'm not going side to side. All right. So I think you have to have premium for some of these things that I'm going to show you. I'm not completely sure. So I think that you can save your meal and that you can copy from day to day in regular MyFitnessPal, like if you don't have the premium. I really hope so, because if not, then you're going to have to get premium to do these things. But I don't think that you have to have premium to save a meal. Actually, no, you don't. I know, because my husband doesn't have premium and he doesn't. And so the trick is, well, let me just share my screen, because it's just going to make more sense if I show you rather than talking about it. So let me go to share my screen. And God, do I really want to show my whole desktop? No, I don't. So we'll go to Google Chrome. Hopefully it's not going to, Chrome is just my browser. I hope it doesn't like squeak on me. And then let me get to MyFitnessPal. Okay. All right, we did it. All right, can you see that? Let me see what's going on. Okay, awesome. So that worked. Okay, so let me show you. So I know things look different. I never go to my computer to do MyFitnessPal. So here we are on Sunday. So I basically mimicked what I had the week before. So I've been in this fat loss phase for like a hot 3 weeks. And so I know, I know what's working for me. So, hey, Lori's joining. Awesome. So yeah, and if you guys want to hop in, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to be on camera. You can just join. But so, hey, Lori.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Can you see me? Good.
Yes. Can you see me?
I can.
Okay, good.
I color on you.
Thanks.
Okay, so what I'm talking about is like how I kind of set up my week. So basically, I'm like, all right, so I'm going to have, this was like a rough idea of what I was going to have. And I've made some changes to that, but it's just going to be a lot easier to, basically what you're doing is you're copying and pasting from one day to the next day. So like I looked at this breakfast and I'm like, can I have this breakfast for like 3 days out of the week? And actually I'm like, can I have this breakfast for like 5 days? And just have the same damn thing over and over and over. So when you set this up, now you can just go ahead and copy. It's like basically copy and paste. So what does that look like in MyFitnessPal? So what it looks like is, and this is an advantage in MyFitnessPal, is that you can see exactly where your protein is. That's really all I care about. How much protein am I getting in per meal, right? So that's really important to me. And am I staying within calorie goals? So when we looked at breakfast, so this was Sunday, 54 grams of protein. And then let's see, and I had lowered my calories. So I had to make some adjustments. So I went from 1525 to, Sue's coming in, 1525 to, I believe, 1485 for calories. So my next week changed, but let me just show you what that looked like. So my base was going to be this breakfast. And so at the bottom here is quick tools, and you just click on that and you're going to, it's going to show like copy to date or copy from date. And here's another thing that's important to note is where it says, remember meal. Now that's key, because now I can just say for future weeks, I can just name this meal if this is something that I would typically have, and I could just name this. So I already have like breakfast 1, breakfast 2, breakfast 3, breakfast 4. I'm on like breakfast 9 by now. So I actually called this my egg white with kiwi because I was on like a little kiwi kick. That was a great way for me to get some fiber. I eat it with the skin. So, all right, but I digress. So what I did, so you can save this whole thing as a meal. Now, I'm not personally going to save this as a meal because I knocked out the whole wheat tortilla wraps for this phase. They just don't do well. I think I have to get rid of them for life because they don't do well in my stomach. I can't digest them, so what I did was I copied this to Monday. So now when we look at Monday, it showed it populated Monday. So now you can see on Monday, I got rid of that wrap. That is no longer in there. I'm at 46 grams of protein because I lost some of the protein from that wrap. But I will also say, like, I have with this yogurt here, I put my protein powder in that, but what I did was I borrowed that I put that protein powder into my lunch calories. So you can see, like, for Monday, I had 46 grams of protein, but then I had 60 grams of protein at lunch and then 50 grams of protein for dinner. So hitting my total goal was 160. I got to 158. I'm going to call it a day. Like, some days I just get a little bit more than others. I also went over my calories a little by a smidge, right? So, or my daily goal was 1480. And that's another thing with those wraps. They mess up your macros because they're taking out the fiber. So you're actually eating more calories. Like, that thing showed up as 45 calories, but it actually should log as 90. But I know I'm getting way off topic here. So now I just go, I'm just focusing on one meal at a time. I look at this meal. Can I have this meal over and over for Monday through Friday? You know what? The easier, the better, for sure. And so I'm like, this is basically what I eat, guys, right? I have eggs, I have vegetables, I have yogurt, and then I have some fruit. This is going to be before the gym. I come back and have my yogurt and then the protein powder. So now I'm just going to log this in for Monday through Friday. So Monday, right? And just copy the date. And I looked at breakfast. So I retooled this and I copied this exact breakfast over to Monday. You can see it's going to be the same exact. I changed my fruit out. Now, you don't necessarily have to be so vigilant about changing out your fruit. Like, if you're, this one was actually a little bit different. I brought in the kidney beans. So that's the beauty of that, is like, you can make quick little changes on the fly, but for the most part, these are still going to be the same. I just swapped out, the berries. So that is just going to be way easier. You have your base. So here's today. This fly will not leave me alone. So you have your base, and now you can kind of adjust that as you go. So that's just a way to just make it easier. So this is 4 servings of egg whites, and then 1 whole egg, I put in some cheese, I put in some asparagus. I also have my yogurt, I have berries, and then again, I'm putting my protein powder on for my lunch. And so with my lunch, I swapped out my lunch. So starting out on Sunday, I believe I started off with like turkey breast or it was tuna, one or the other. And so I just, every other day so I've had tuna twice this week. And then for the rest, I've had turkey breast or chicken breast, like a sandwich. And so that's kind of like making those adjustments there. And that's how you do it, right? Just make it easy. And as far as the weekends go, right, I'm still going to be consistent with that. So I did have a few different dinners. I think I had 3 different dinners in the rotation this week. So I had the edamame pasta with some cooked shrimp and broccoli. That's what I'm having tonight with some olive oil. I also always put my snacks in, right? And my snacks don't vary. I'm having popcorn and I'm having chocolate. So that's just going in, right? That's like an automatic. That's literally like I put in breakfast and lunch and then I put in my snacks, see what's left for dinner, because like I like that. Around 2:00 in the afternoon, I like to have my chocolate. And then when I'm feeling snackety, I like to have my popcorn. So that's really how you do it. Now, I have a whole bank of meals already done. So I do chicken, right? But I don't do chicken every meal. So let's see, when we look at Wednesday, yeah, this is pretty freaking basic right here is the broccoli. I use the brown and wild rice cups, the already made ones. Those are 220 calories. I have boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and I have boneless, skinless chicken breasts. So I'm going to have a little bit more breasts than the thighs. I cook those 2 things together. So I put them in the Instapot. And so on one side is the chicken breast, on the other side is the chicken thigh. So I always have that on hand. It's already cooked. And I just realized one thing that I did not put in here is my barbecue sauce. So I have it's the sugar-free one. I forget his name, but it's like 10 calories for a serving. So I'm really not sweating it, but here we go. Like I've had that 4 days this week. So that's 40 calories across the week, right? I'm not going to really sweat that, but you know what? Now that I see it, I'm like, I'm going to put that in there to hold myself accountable. But so this lunch was just a salad with some turkey breast on it. So I am going to rotate those lunches. Like, so this one was a salad. The other one was sandwiches. And I'm going to pull that through the weekend too, because when you stop planning on the weekend now, an easier thing for me on the weekend would be to have just a salad rather than making a whole sandwich. So you have to kind of, what works the best for you and for your lifestyle. But, instead of just being like, oh, I couldn't plan because what? Like, why couldn't you? It's different if you're traveling, not really, because you can still plan for that. Right. So, it's about taking ownership for what you want to accomplish. If you're not in a fat loss phase, this doesn't really matter. Maintenance is maintenance. Like, you can get away with a lot of stuff. So I'm just making sure that I'm hitting my protein goals first and foremost. And then is this Thursday? Oh, this was Wednesday. I had a little bit of calories left over yesterday. So, but this way I just wake up and, I already know I'm going to have this breakfast, right? I've committed to that. Like, this is what it is. I enjoy that. I don't mind having, eggs with spinach and cheese, right? I like it. It tastes really good to me. So, and again, like having a salad with a sandwich with a salad on the side, and then just mixing up my dinners. That's where I'm going to get a little bit more variety for sure. So let me go through my dinners. I did have the edamame, the fettuccine with the shrimp. We talked about that. I have the chicken with the chicken thigh and the chicken breast. That was the only one. Oh, pork. That's right. So at the beginning of the week, it was Sunday and So Sunday and Monday was pork. And then we're going to do that again tomorrow. So tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah. So that's going to pull me through to the weekend. And then Sunday, I've left open because I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do on Sunday night, but I've still planned my breakfast and my lunch, right? So these are things that I can easily commit to and have. I tend to have, I like to have bacon on Saturdays. I don't know. I just like to have bacon on Saturdays. So I'm going to have to put that into I'm pretty sure I did, but Might be making a liar out of myself. And also on the weekend, I want to make sure that I've left some room for some snacks. And so I definitely did. So when I talk about snacks on the weekend, we're talking wine. So I didn't put in my snacks. So I did put in my pork chop dinner. I still have 300 calories to play around with. So I'm still not messing around, right? I still got my breakfast. My lunch is in there. We are good. And my protein is done, right? So I have to get in 300 more calories. So I didn't put in snacks. I don't have any of my rice in there. I don't have any vegetables in there. So now I do have some room for, a couple glasses of wine. But I'm going to make sure I do get maybe, let's see, I'm having a salad for lunch. I had some vegetables for my breakfast. So I'm kind of covered, as far as that goes. I'll look at fiber goals. So this doesn't show up on my computer. So yeah, so I'm going to want to make sure that I actually did hit my fiber goal. And that's probably going to be attained through like whatever vegetable that I have for dinner or some kind of a grain. And then that leaves me a little room for a couple glasses of wine or something like that. So now I am drinking the lighter wine. So 2 glasses of that is going to put me back 160 calories. Now, so I still have plenty of calories left over, but to make this even more effective is I've been doing wine and doing it like making a spritzer. And so I love cherry 7-Up. I just bought that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. But you could do it with bubbly water, any kind of like the Poland sparkling, which I like those a lot too. And then using the wine. So 1 glass of wine has 5 ounces, right? It's not a lot, so having a glass of wine, even at that lighter wine, is going to be either 70 calories or 80 calories. But so I'm just going to do 1 ounce of the wine, and then I'm going to fill the rest up with the 7-Up and maybe put a piece of fruit in there because it's Saturday night, right? And I'm going to be fancy. And so I can have like 3 of those. I can have 5 of those. Like by the time after the third one, it's like, kind of all set. And then I will probably have like an actual glass of wine and then call it a day. So we're looking at that. I think I calculated it out to be like 14 calories per cocktail, like whatever you want to call it. And I'll do 3. I can do 3 of those. So that's really just setting me back. What was that? Like about 45 calories and then another 70 with that actual glass of wine. So 115 calories, and I just had 4 drinks, so that's kind of how I plan that out. Now, Sunday, I'm going to go out. So I want to leave some leeway as far as that goes. So I'm still in the same situation, but now when I go out, like I want to make sure that whatever I pick is going to have 42 grams of protein. Pork chops usually have a decent amount of fat. So here's 12 grams of fat here. I could so save calories by going out and having 8 ounces of a grilled chicken breast rather than this pork chop, right? And so that's the hack right there. This literally takes 10 minutes. Now you might say, well, what if I don't feel like having that? Or what if I'm having something different, so you can easily swap out, right? So hey, for the raspberries. So I actually got new raspberries today. I ran out of raspberries. And so I swapped that out for strawberries. You know what? That's so much easier to do than it is to like plan ahead, especially when we tend to have like the same 10 to 15 items every day, but I do want to make sure that I swap out. So next week, I'm definitely going to get away from the asparagus and the spinach. I'm probably going to add in some more color to my meals next week. Instead of rice, I'm going to be having potatoes and just making kind of those swaps as far as that goes, just to have a little bit more variety into my diet. Maybe I'll swap out my salad and make that a spinach, like the spinach and raspberry and goat cheese salad. And I'll put like maybe a fruit in there. I'll think about that on Sunday when I plan my meal for next week and the weekend. Also, my husband's coming, so I know we're going out for, I'm probably going to be going out for meals. I'm still in deficit either way. So I want to make sure that I am leaning more towards protein. So you can definitely see here on my meals, I don't get less than 50 grams of protein on average per meal, so that I'm hitting my goal is 160 and I hit 164. I'm usually a little bit over on that 160 grams of protein. So any questions? Lori, does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay. Do you do this?
I usually just do like the night before. I'll plan out my meals for the next day. I don't normally do like the whole week.
Yeah.
But yeah. This is a lot more detailed than mine. I like this.
Well, it depends on what phase you're in too, right? So are you still in maintenance?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have a little bit more leeway, right? You get to have a little bit.
Yeah, a lot more.
You don't have to be so strict, right? And so, but it also shows like, how are we getting, because really, all I care about is the protein, right? And how are we hitting those protein goals? And I think once you conquer that nut, it's just way easier. Now we can start putting in the fun stuff, so, I mean, not that salads are so fun, but I mean, I like a salad. So I want to make sure that I'm having that plus the things that I enjoy. Again, here we are, Godiva chocolate and then
the fun stuff. Yeah.
Because that I look forward to, I don't mind eating these meals. That's key, right? These are things I enjoy having these foods. Of course, I enjoy having the popcorn and the, stuff better, but like my dinner, I love this dinner. Like that to me is just, it's such a huge dinner with that edamame fettuccine. I think that has like 24 grams of protein, like 12 grams of fiber. It's a lot, but it's a huge plate of pasta. It's like, whoa, so like, this is very filling to me. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. So I hope that's helpful.
It is for me.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to stop sharing. I think key is to find out what is your go-to meal, right? What are those things that you enjoy having? And what's that you don't mind having? And then just saving that as a meal and making sure you know what that is. I have literally breakfast 1, breakfast 2, breakfast 3, breakfast 4, breakfast 5. And then I had a spreadsheet somewhere where I have that, so I could easily do that, but you have to know like what those breakfasts are, but right now I'm just like, I can just literally I'm like copying and pasting. So, if I remembered what breakfast 9 was, then I could just do that.
Yeah.
But I could be a little bit more organized and have a spreadsheet. Like my friend Corrine had this on a spreadsheet where she knew exactly what was what. So, but maybe I can get Corrine to work for me and and do that. But it's just a way to, it just makes things easier when you're like, you can enjoy that. You don't have to do this a week ahead of time. Like doing it the night before is perfect because you can see what's in your fridge. What's in your fridge for the morning, right?
Exactly. Yes.
This or this, right? And you're like, okay, we have this, or I'm going to have to pull this out of the freezer so that we can have that. So there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's perfect that you're doing that day in advance. That way it's not a surprise. You're not caught with your pants down when it comes time for dinner. And now you have to have 70 grams of protein. It's like, dang it. Like that's not going to work. Right.
No, that doesn't work. Yeah.
Right.
I have my staple meals too. My go-to meals that I always have on hand that I know I have at least my 45 grams of protein. And those are always there for me if I need it.
Yes. Yeah.
I get my protein most days. I don't have issues with that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Cause that's like the biggest nut right there. If you can tackle that, then the other stuff becomes a little bit easier. I think people tend to struggle with that protein at the beginning, but you didn't to start with, right? You were already doing pretty well with the protein.
I would, yeah.
Because a lot of the ladies that we see coming in, and a lot of the ladies are listening to this right now, right? Maybe if they're just new, 60, 70 grams of protein, so then they start listening. They're like, oh, I'm up on my protein, right? And then you come in working with us and we're like, oh, did you now? Enjoying total food freedom and being able to you don't have to rely on doing this MyFitnessPal for the rest of your life, so I don't have to track, right? I don't mind tracking, but I don't have to track. I already know like what to eat. Now I'm in a fat loss phase, right? Because I want to take off a little bit of fat for the summer. So, but I pretty much maintained, I was within 5 pounds. Like I just kind of maintained that since August, where I didn't have to track at all. And that's like just living in maintenance. And that's just so much more freeing to not have to track, have the foods that you enjoy, not have to worry about. I still make sure I'm getting in my protein, but I don't have to worry about chips and guac at the Mexican restaurant and the spicy margarita that I want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the plus of maintenance. All those extra calories.
I call it the nutrition intelligence, right? As we up level the nutrition intelligence, then that'll be like a different phase, right? Because all the phases have their challenge, right? That's the beauty of tracking macros, is you can see what fits in your day. That's like where I can see that, like, oh heck yeah, on Sunday I'm leaving some calories open so I can have some fun stuff. I covered my bases on protein. I'm good to go.
Right.
So, all right. Well, do you have any questions? If you need any help, like trying to plan that day, like what does it look like? I can give you a hand. So yeah, just reach out to me, and sounds good. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Welcome. Bye.